available on the homepage or anything. The information that I shared tonight, it is not available anywhere yet, but I will be reporting it to the state very soon, and then it will be part of the State of Maine dashboard, and you'll be able to see it through the Lewiston Public Schools information. That's where Central got information. I'm sure they'll do it.
I should say, like, I don't think she's present that again, but, you know, someone inquired, like, well, I didn't see that presentation.
What we have done about.
Somebody will text, Karen, can you text Allison and just ask her to jump back?
I did. I messaged her. She hasn't responded yet.
Do you need somebody to be talking, Dave, so you can pick it off? Do you need somebody talking so you can make sure?
Yeah.
Karaoke, I don't think so. It's without driving away. Challenge, I'd be willing to gig, but
I'll make his voice, actually.
He's rescheduling it because Friday's a workshop day.
senior evening, Dave.
Friday's workshop.
Oh, so they're not doing it.
Yeah, we'll just. Well, yeah.
Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no.
I got it. It's not.
No school Friday or Monday.
Oh.
Microphones.
Testing. I feel like Dave should be like.
Okay, Dave. Spinning. If Jake was here, this wouldn't have happened.
Don't say that. Megan.
Oh, yeah, first.
I can hear you guys.
You can?
You're live.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Are we also broadcasting, like 100% live and ready to go? All right, sorry for the technical difficulties. We've just completed agenda item number 7. We are going to backtrack to agenda item number 6 really quickly. The field trip request to Peaks Island is being rescheduled, so we will not be voting on that tonight. Agenda item number 8 is future agenda items. Member Potvin.
Well, Madam Chair, with what's been brought to light to the school committee tonight by the public, I would definitely think that we need to have a discussion of what exactly is out there and under what format is out there. You know, and who's approving and what process is there for approval of these, because quite frankly, what's been, if this is indeed a book from the Lewiston High School, we have pornography in the high school, period. There's nothing outside that doesn't matter what the words are, pornography, period. And so we need this discussion to come forward to understand what the process is. A way to clean this up, the education that's being attempted to be done in a different way. Find out what inputs the parents can have in this. Certainly it's going to raise some eyebrows, and find out where's the buck stop on this? Is it us? Is it is the high school, is the librarian material curriculum? Does it fall under that? Is it fall under the school? I mean, so I guess we need to see what the reporting function is. So,
Okay. Any other agenda items?
yeah, I got one more.
Okay.
I hate to say it, but I do want to reconsider my vote last week on the holiday vote. I was totally confused in what we were voting on. The superintendent clearly stated he was going back to the way it was. My interpretation of that was to go back with no religious holidays. So my assumption in the vote was that it was going to include both the Jewish and the Muslim holidays, that we were going to go back to a secular calendar. So I never would have voted to separate the two. So I'm going to ask for reconsideration of that vote, because it doesn't make any sense from my perspective, and certainly from the people I've heard from. So, I mean, I don't know if it's something to have a further discussion on, maybe coming out, because I threw it out there, do we have the ability to give them an extra day of compensation, to address holidays, so for whatever denomination wishes to take it. I mean, whether it be Catholic, Christian, Muslim, Jewish, is there a better policy we can do here? So I'm just gonna reconsider my vote.
Okay, so are you asking us to have another agenda item to discuss the holiday schedule, or are you asking to just change your own vote?
No, I'm actually moving to reconsider my vote from last week.
Okay.
Thank you. I think that's great. I'm just curious, are we allowed to reconsider our votes? Or is it, if you make the motion or second it, you have to be the one that withdraws it? I don't know how
Someone
it
needs a
works.
second, then the vote needs to happen on whether to reconsider or not. So, and whereas I was in the majority vote, I'm choosing to take that vote back. And then if it's passed by a simple majority to reconsider, then another vote is taken on the actual item, which would be, I believe the language of the item last week was to accept the superintendent's recommendation to take away the 2 holidays. So we would have another vote on that.
So the motion that we voted on was to support the superintendent's recommendation to remove the Jewish holidays from the calendar.
Yep.
And you voted in favor of it or against it?
Affirmative, in favor of, because I thought we were doing all of them. I did not
So you
see
want to
that this,
remove more holidays from the calendar?
I want a discussion. I just don't want to just take two holidays away from one denomination while other denominations exist. It doesn't make any sense to go that way. And that's not the way I voted in the previous votes regarding the holidays. So it's like, I was confused when the language was, we're going to go back to the way it was. And so being that, okay, well, we're just talking about the specific holidays. Well, now that's different.
We're
Yes,
not
that's what
asking to do that right now, though, right? Oh, we're asking, okay.
Well, it's got to have a second. I mean, if
So,
nobody seconds
I
me,
think,
then I
I
can't.
hate to say this because it's a process that has been thoroughly abused over the last year and a half, but the agenda item that we're on right now is for future agenda items. And so I think that if you want to revisit a vote and you want to bring something else up, you would first have to suspend the rules in order to do that, because you're bringing up an agenda item that's not on the agenda. So I think that we would have to go through that entire process first in order to do it.
Keep reading. A member's reconsideration is a primary vote,
Right, but
takes
you're,
precedent. So there's no suspension necessary. It can happen at any point. again, as long as it's second, nobody's gonna second it, and we don't have to debate this, so.
Is anyone going to second this?
Second.
Yes, please. Ms. Miller.
I respect what you're bringing to the table. But I don't feel like doing that now without putting it on the agenda and having a good conversation and discussion is appropriate. But I felt, and I guess the way I felt thrown off guard when we voted on it last time. Because I wasn't expecting that at all with what that read on the agenda. So I wasn't prepared for that. I just want to be prepared. I want us to, like, if we want to have a discussion, maybe we have some, make sure people are here to talk to us. Cause I didn't want to take it off the calendar. I still don't want it off the calendar. But I feel like we really need a good conversation.
If I can, my recommendation was gonna table, not to vote on it tonight, so that it would give the administration and the public time to coordinate. So I just don't want it moving forward in its present stage, because that was not my intention of my vote.
So I think that the most simplest way to do that tonight, we don't have the superintendent here and it was his recommendation, so he can't speak on it. And I know that this was a very huge discussion point for the community as a whole. And so I think having a conversation on it right now for those two reasons would be inappropriate. And if you just want it to come up in the future, then adding that on as a future agenda item and us getting it on the agenda in the next few weeks, I think would probably be the most appropriate way to do that.
But
And then that gives the time for the public to be aware so that they can be here to speak.
I understand where you're going with this, but I gotta be made whole on my vote. My vote was wrongly cast with what was being presented. So the motion to reconsider is basically cleaning up a situation where, technically speaking, it didn't have the votes to move forward if I didn't vote a certain way. So, and so that to me is important, because I have no way was I planning on misrepresenting myself to the city after lobbying, for the very holidays, and then turning around and taking them away. It just didn't make any sense. So this is, again, I would only ask the vote to nullify what we voted last week, and then a subsequent vote to table to put the action, to the administration and the public to coordinate.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I think that what Ron is saying, a reconsideration of his vote must happen at the next regularly scheduled meeting, which is now.
Mhm.
And then there would also be, I believe, there would have to be 5 affirmative votes. You have to have I believe, a supermajority on the reconsideration.
Now, I question that, because I read it before doing this, and it was a simple majority
Okay, but
of present.
But I know it has to be done. The reconsideration, your reconsideration has to be done tonight.
Hmm.
So if that's what you're asking, reconsideration.
Yeah.
Does it make a difference that we're missing
2 people.
2 people
Well,
that
plus
voted
the
in it
superintendent.
last week?
I don't know. That's the importance of being at meetings, right?
I seconded Ron's motion for the purpose of transparency of getting this all on the table, but I feel that all parties should get involved. While I respect Commissioner Potvin's point of view, nothing is going to be changed one way or the other affecting the parties involved until we have a further discussion. I thought after the meeting that we probably should have tabled it to check with the involved parties. I've done a little research on that, and there are other religious groups here in Lewiston that number-wise may be more affected and have their own holidays. So I really think we got to get this out in the open, and I prefer a full discussion rather than any policy change at this time.
we don't have any of the scheduled holidays that are in question between now and our next meeting. So if this gets on the agenda for the next meeting and we can have a full discussion with public input, public notification, hopefully all school committee members here, the superintendent back, it's not, there's nothing that your vote is going to impact in the next 2 weeks because we don't have any of these holidays scheduled in the next 2 weeks.
I get that, but it's a very delicate procedural move that I'm kind of adamant about because of what it's involving here and the upset that's caused in this community. So I would like at least a vote, to reconsider.
I'm having a hard time finding specifically what you're asking for in Robert's rules, and I'm not an expert on this. So that's the reason why I'm also suggesting.
Should be motion to reconsider.
So to rescind or amend something previously adopted by means of motion to rescind or to amend something previously adopted, there are two forms of one incidental main motion governed by identical rules. The assembly can change an action previously taken or ordered. Rescind, also known as repeal or annul, is the motion by which a previous action or order can be canceled or countermanded. The effect of the rescind is to strike out an entire main motion, resolution, order, or rule that has been adopted at some previous time. And it does not have the time limit. Would that meet?
I don't think that's the mechanism.
So it must be seconded, is debatable if the motion to be reconsidered is debatable. Can't be amended, requires a majority vote. And can't be reconsidered.
I don't think it's a motion to reconsider. Your mic's not on, but I don't think it's a motion to reconsider unless we're going to have the full discussion tonight.
So what I'm reading says it must be made on the same day as the meeting in which the motion to be reconsidered was decided.
A motion to reconsider needs to be held at the next regular scheduled meeting. I know that.
Okay.
But I don't know that a motion to reconsider is necessarily what you want tonight, because if it's a motion
No,
to
I don't want the
reconsider tonight.
discussion. I just want the discussion on my being able to withdraw my
So you want to
vote,
rescind, not reconsider. That's the difference. The rescind is we're taking it all back. And the reconsider is we're going to reconsider it, which means we're going to have a discussion tonight.
No, the rescinding is when you want to delete something. I'm not necessarily saying a delete. I want a revote by the committee on the original motion that we voted on last week. So, and again, I would table. A reconsideration is basically just, I'm changing my vote. My vote did not come out the way it would have intended it to. So, and if someone seconds and the majority of the committee agrees that, okay, you can go ahead and reconsider your vote, then the action last week is nullified, but the item is still pending. So we need to then reset a new meeting for that item. So all it does is just nullifies the vote. And that's all I'm shooting for tonight. I just want to nullify it. It's the next meeting. I want to get done. It was totally misunderstood. And I mean, if the board sees fit and they're okay with my reconsideration, and then you have what you want. You can bring it back next week or whenever everybody's ready to talk about it again with more information. And
All right, so if we go to vote right now, we are voting on a motion to, what are you calling, can you specify your motion?
motion to reconsider my vote on last week's vote on the religious holidays.
And it was seconded by,
Member Bopalan. Any further discussion? Ward 1, I'm sorry, Ward 2.
So discussion wise, I'm I'm just still trying to fully understand this. So he's making a motion to rescind his vote from last week. So I would be voting right now on allowing you to rescind your vote. Is that what this is?
You're voting on whether or not you're in favor of or against his motion.
Okay, and so when he rescinds his vote, even though there are two people missing who were here last week, we would then vote again on that tonight?
No, I don't think that this is proper procedure. I can't find what is the proper procedure, but I don't know that this is the proper means to the end that he wants. So without having a parliamentarian or somebody who knows more about this than I am,
Okay.
if we vote right now, we're voting on whether or not we want to allow him, we are voting on whether or not we are in favor of his motion to reconsider his previous vote.
So, and I'm first to go.
Yes.
So, yeah, if you would like to rescind your vote, then I'll say yes. Go ahead.
Ward 3,
Yes.
Ward 4,
Yes.
Ward 6,
Yes.
Ward 7.
Yes.
I vote no. Ward 1.
Motion passes, I'll count this time, 5-2.
And Madam Chair, I'd like to make the motion on the existing question at hand on the suggestion by the superintendent to cancel out the 2 Jewish holidays and ask to table that for further discussion and examination by administration and the public to a later date.
Second.
Any further discussion? Yes, yes. The motion to table what was voted on last Monday to a future meeting. Any other discussion? Ward 2,
Yes.
Ward 3,
Yes.
Ward 4,
Yes.
Ward 5, Ward 6,
Yes.
Ward 7,
Yes.
no, Ward 1.
No,
Motion passes 5-2.
Thank you. Were there any other future agenda items that anyone wanted? Member Bowden?
I just want to make sure that we are still going to be addressing the dress code.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful.
Thank you. Agenda item number 9 is to enter into executive session to discuss collective bargaining in accordance with 1 MRSA 405D.
So moved.
Second?
Ward 2,
Yes.
Ward 3,
Yes.
Ward 4,
Yes.
Ward 6,
Yes.
Ward 7,
Yes.
yes, Ward 1.
yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Going into executive